We got our first look at Wild Survivors, and I'm not gonna lie, this actually exceeds my expectations. Hey, 34% of you that have not smashed the living crap out of that description, how are we supposed to climb up to 111,000 without your help? Please, smash it so we can actually do so. So we have our first look here at Wild Survivors, and this is going to be our next deck build pack here. The OCG gets this in, it'd be March, and we'll probably see this summertime, I would have to guess, / August, usually with how the trends typically will follow for this. So let's kind of dig on in here. Well, actually, first of all, the cycle has been broken. Art for the boss monsters of the new themes in the extra deck build pack, and there is no waifus for the first time in a deck build pack. Konami took a step back from the waifu side of things and said, maybe this isn't the path to go. And I am going to be very curious to know if it's going to hurt this deck build pack, or maybe there'll be waifus just revealed later on within the art. So the first little guy that we have here is the Transcendence Drake, or Transcend Drake. Large-scale dinosaurs that appear on the field using different kinds of summoning methods. Oh boy. So the first thing you automatically get with this is, you have to understand most of these themes will be 10, actually, it'll be first initial 10 cards, and there's always an extra one. So these themes roll out at 11 cards. So if you are putting a large amount of these cards in the extra deck, I have bad news for you straight off the bat here. That's going to be less synergy that you're going to be getting off of this. Now, with that being said, though, they said that these are going to be large-scale dinosaurs that appear on the field using different kinds of summoning methods, which actually opens up the door here to something unique. Now, we do not have to actually have these dinosaurs be their own archetype. We can actually just have these be dinosaurs that we can actually access, say, through the extra deck. Now, if they're going to give them a specific tuner monster that they're going to be forced to actually use, then this theme is going to be absolutely god-awful. I hope that's not actually going to be the case. I hope that if that's going to be the case, that we can kind of, hopefully tune that out a little bit here and give something to this, but straight away, I mean, different summoning methods. So you've got Exceed, Link, Synchro, Pendulum, technically. I guess you could get a Pendulum in here, but for this being 11 cards, typically, that worries me, because that's just a lot of, I guess, extraness that they're really going to have. But if this ends up being a generic dinosaur archetype, where, you can just have access to these, stepping through the synchro, stepping through this, they give them a generic tuner that, can be with their archetype. But if they make the synchro for this archetype, have to specifically rely on, you guessed it, the Transcend Drake tuner monster. That's just spoiling for too much. Though, I will say that Dinosaur has gotten a lot of very generic cards as of late, and they typically, in real bad fashion with these deck build packs, typically end up forcing these archetypes to kind of rely on themselves. But hopefully, we can stick to that latter theme here, and you can have that synergy with Old Ultimate Conductor, with Oviraptor, have Misk actually help you out. If not, I'd have to consider this a flop. But you're opening up the doors with the very good description here, Konami. Don't slam it in our faces here and make this bad, all right? My only other question is, I just don't know what you give to dinosaurs at this point. Like, what do you give to them to have them be better? I don't know. Next up here is actually really, really cool. So this is called Vanquish Soul. Fighters that release their special attacks using the power of attributes. Now, this is actually super exciting here. First of all, this should remind you a little bit of brawlers from Cardfight Vanguard, actually. They've already made a couple comparisons over there that, like, this art just very much feels like something that they borrowed straight out of Vanguard over there. So I do find that that's kind of cool. Also, the abbreviation for versus is really cool. Anybody else kind of get Goki vibes from these guys as well? very much either Goki or I think Dino Wrestler would be a right step in the right direction here. But, I mean, they're going to more than likely be dragon themed. So, the thing that concerns me here is using the power of attributes. You already know that they're going to have some stupid card in the archetype that's going to go, well, all of your monsters that are X attribute are also going to gain X attribute, which means all of your, or we do this correctly here, and we don't let this be an absolute failure, and you basically go, hey, you know, this card also counts as X attribute while on the field. If we do something like that, then I think that this will be fine. All right, especially, you know, if most of these cards end up being dual attributes, I am actually fine with that. All right, but if you're going to make this theme on the absolute super downside, you're gonna have to rely on some sort of card in order to generate, you know, the different types, then it's gonna absolutely fail. But I hope you're ready for some, probably in the same class as the Dino Wrestlers for sure, in terms of attributes. This would actually be cool also if this ends up, first of all, this would actually be cool if this actually ends up being like Thunder support, by the way, because if you look at like the background and everything we've got going here for this guy down here, it very much does feel like a Thunder monster. And that's what I like about these particular types of things is, you know, the art can really lure you in on a story, all right? You can really sell this just as a very strong selling point. But if it ends up being Dragon Thunder, I think that's a very interesting type and uniqueness to the game that we really haven't seen. Well, I guess I can't say that. Thunder Dragons do exist, so technically, but maybe we'll also have these be counting as like fire monsters. Fire Thunder would be kind of cool as well. Haven't really seen a lot of that, but you notice the first real two attributes here aren't, or the first two of these archetypes aren't necessarily too crazy in their descriptions. Now this last one down here, this is the banger of the archetype, in my personal opinion. This is the novellas, and this is a ritual summoning theme that treats the opponent to different cuisines. Now, I want to point something out here for a second. A few people have talked about some of these little foods on here might feel a little bit out of place, like this bread here, but the first thing that you probably just heard me say was a ritual summoning theme. We all know where these go, ladies and gentlemen. We've already... Drytrons are the last, what I would deem successful ritual archetype that we actually could do anything with. All right, like, let's call that what that is. We already know and understand that. But how are you going to treat your opponent to different cuisines? That's what I'm very curious about here. Is this going to involve summoning token food to the opponent's field? Because that would be very, very interesting. You know, you ritual summon up a chef, you hand your opponent this piece of food, but like, why do I want to hand them this? What benefits to me? I mean, are we giving our opponent diarrhea out here? Like, that would be like the only real case. I don't want to serve my opponent anything good. Like, that defeats the purpose of this. Like, you want whatever you are basically doing here to be strictly beneficial to you. And I'm already on the fence about knowing that this is a ritual archetype, because rituals have been some of the most unsuccessful things out here. But I guess you got Matana's Drytron synergy built into this, but it feels like that this is going to be the weakest of them all. Though, good news here, this does give me the possibility of wondering if Hungry Frickin' Burger will be mentioned in this archetype, because trust me, as somebody out here as old as me in this game, you see Hungry Burger show up on the possibility of being a card, you know gosh darn well that you are going to be super excited for that option tree. So hopefully the novellas here will be good, but I'm going to be just straight up honest with you. I don't think any of these themes really, they don't tickle my fancy straight off the bat, and there needs to be something really good here to sell this pack. If not, it's going to be a big flopperoo. So please, leave a comment down below, tell me what you guys think, and I will see your beautiful faces back here later in the day, guys. Peace out. Patrons! Thank you!
Thank you so much for watching. Check out these other videos.